What's up, everybody? This is Cobra C Capshaw slash Mr. Smiles a Lot with yet another Let's Talk Media LLC podcast. But this time, if you haven't noticed, I'm trying to get my intro and outro that I have in my videos from my Vice videos to everything else in there. Hopefully they came up pretty clear. So I did a solo podcast yesterday. I can't even speak today. And I really loved how it came out. But today, here, I have my cousin, again, Ethan Capshaw, and we are doing yet another buddy podcast together, and we have an assortment of things to talk about today. We actually have a structured podcast, so as opposed to yesterday's where I just kind of freely talked, this one's going to be more structured, which I'm perfectly okay with. So we have 9 subjects to talk about. So, Ethan, first subject that we wanted to talk about was Oldies, and then I know on the second one we have Paul McCartney's legacy, but maybe we can also talk about other people's legacies, like back then, like from Michael Jackson to Fleetwood Mac to the Bee Gees to the Beach Boys to the Monkees. If we can do, I mean, we can actually tie the two into it. So, like,
of course,
you and I, we love Oldies music. What's your main reason why you love Oldies music so much, though?
I feel like, first of all, thanks for having me back on your show.
No problem, man.
I feel like it just takes me back in time sometimes. Well, mostly when I like to sing along, but yeah, it takes me back. You know, time travel isn't a thing, but music is kind of like time travel because it puts you into the feeling where, say, you're listening to the Beatles, you really listen well, take you back to the '60s.
Yep. And
so I like trying to feel what those rock stars that influence us nowadays feel, and you know, I feel like that's what oldies are for, so we don't lose our history.
Right, yeah, growing up, me being a singer, I didn't just start with all this new poppy stuff. I grew up singing the Beatles. I grew up singing Michael Jackson, like pretty much everything, or everyone I just, mentioned, and beyond that. And before my acting and singing coach, I'm hopefully doing a podcast with on Thursday. I actually need to come up with questions to talk about with him before Thursday. I would try to sing like those other oldies people and imitate their voice and place my voice of what they would sing. And well, that was a problem because I wasn't really singing with my own voice and it'd be really strained out. But exactly, if it weren't for oldies music, I don't think I would be inspired to keep singing the way that I go today. And, you know, it bothers me how this younger generation say, oh, the oldies music is dumb, like, music, it sounds like crud and all that, but then you gotta think, if it wasn't for oldies music, we wouldn't have our music today. And no offense, let's be honest, like, half the music today is not, it's all this, like, this auto-tune, you know, mumble rap, same, talking about this and that.
Using the computer.
Yeah, as opposed to, you know, listen to Eminem or somebody who actually has meaning behind their music, you know, like Charlie Puth, Ed Sheeran, even the Jonas Brothers. Their new album is great, you know, but we're talking about oldies. But, you know, it all ties in, you know.
It's all tied together, right?
Well, you know, and so speaking of oldies, those people, they have a legacy. I mean, you know, Paul McCartney, he's still going at it, and I think I'd have to ask my buddy Phil this, the one who helped me learn how to find my singing voice. So Phil, like I've said before, you know Phil, he's like a second dad to me. He's literally been around since the day I was adopted, and I grew up listening to these oldies musics around him and everything like that. Speaking of oldies music, coolest thing that Phil's ever done is that he went to a professional recording studio and he had the people do backup vocals, and he had the instruments of John Lennon songs. And he imitated John Lennon's voice. It just sounded almost just like him. Like, Phil's very musically talented. He knows, he is funny only terms of the chords on piano, but he knows how to play the piano. He's just very gifted. So, even before Garrett, growing up around Phil, he helped me become musically talented in that aspect. You know what I mean? Wow. So I grew up around oldies music. And plus, I was born in 91, so I mean, I know all about the old stuff.
90s.
Oh, man. So, yeah, no, but from the Beatles to Paul McCartney and Paul McCartney's legacy, now it's crazy how him and Ringo still going with his, I think it's called Ringo's All-Star Band. But, you know, the fact that Paul McCartney, he's actually came out with a new album on iTunes called Paul McCartney 3 or McCartney 3 or something like that. But it's so funny how he's released all these other albums and I didn't even know about them. I'm like, well, this has come out of the woodwork, you know. Definitely left a legacy behind. Obviously, like I said, Michael Jackson, all the other people, Bee Gees, Monkees, Beach Boys. Shoot, even old school rock people like Chuck Berry to, I mean, dude, the list goes on. Music is like, what's that one philosophical quote? Like, everything else might seem like it has its limit. Music is timeless or endless or something, which is so true.
Seems like it is.
Yeah. What are some of old legacies that you really like about?
Well, you're actually, I don't know if you know this. When I was around 7, I remember in your basement we were playing DDR, and you introduced me to Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I remember, who is this? Billie Jean is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Parker's singing it. And, yeah, that was my first introduction, just thinking, wow, this is really good.
Well, besides that, for this oldies music, I went and learned how to dance or hip-hop dance. Like, I found my beat on learning how to dance from the oldies music. There's 100% no doubt about that,
Right. Yeah, Paul McCartney's legacy is immeasurable. It says here he was a producer. Well, he's a knight too.
Yeah, he was knighted by I think, what queen was it? It was it Queen Elizabeth? No, was it
Elizabeth or
it was someone important?
She
The Queen of
ever-
England, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's her. She's immortal.
And remember, actually, when I went to go visit her cousin Mackenzie, he was there at her college, and he got a doctorate in music.
Yeah, I was there.
They awarded him. Yeah, you were there. Yeah, we were like, I remember we looked at each other like, is that Paul McCartney?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember I freaked out? I was so excited. I was like, Paul McCartney's here? No
I
way.
couldn't see her. I didn't have my glasses.
Oh, I
on.
saw
couldn't
him
see
fully.
right.
It was, yeah.
I remember he looked kind of tall, but I don't know if he's that tall.
I don't know. Actually.
He's also, it says he's a vegetarian.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He was, oh, look at that. He was given his honorary doctorate from Yale University, and that's where we were there.
Yes, we were. That's so cool.
So, legend, lead singer. Sorry, John Lennon. I mean, who you like him more than John Lennon?
John, honestly, like, I would say that, I think secretly, and I'm just like saying this for the majority of everyone, I kind of feel like secretly, like a lot of people like John, but for some reason, I've always kind of felt like underneath the surface, Paul was everyone's favorite.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to Ringo or George. I mean, they were, trust me, if it weren't for all of them, together, they would not have the music that we love today. I mean, they were the Beatles, for God's sakes,
Right.
So it's actually funny because our fourth question, basically, how old music influenced music today, I kind of already covered that. Like the music, today is definitely has to be influenced by. I mean, think about it. Drake Bell from Drake and Josh. He has admitted that one of his big inspirations is the Beatles, and if you listen to some of his soundtracks and his music, it's kind of very Beatles-like, in a way.
And that's what 50 years later.
Yeah.
Insane.
Even Big Time Rush, from Nickelodeon, that band, when they did the songs for the Big Time Rush movie, when they redid all the Beatles songs, even James Masler, one of them said, we did not want to mess up the song, because songs, we did them to the best of our ability, because we did not want to disrespect, the Beatles, because, they already had such a masterpiece in their music.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool that a younger, generation boy band shows respect to an older band like that, instead of just taking their music and making it sound however they want it. And like when you actually listen to their remake, it sounds extremely close, or if not exactly like the old, like how the Beatles did it. And you can tell that they did show them great respect, which I think is pretty awesome. So
it is. I mean, if you go back to the 50s, rock and roll, it meant disruption. It pushing against the Eisenhower era of repression, and so you get these guys like Elvis Presley shaking their,
I'm listening.
Buddy Holly, Jerry Lee Lewis, Chuck Berry. So you got these guys pushing the culture forward, and people don't realize that's it shaped what is today, and so it's all connected.
Exactly. Well, I guess, I didn't realize by talking, I pretty much just answered it already, like, all 5, so, like, why we like singing and dancing, and, like, what kind of music gets us dancing. Well, I said hip-hop. I've tried other styles of dance like cotillion, things like that, and I learned that dance for my wedding with my wife, which is very nice. Like the step, rock step, all that. But I'm just very naturally gifted at hip hop dancing. I don't know, like I'm not trying to say brag of the best, but just being able to move and flow and all that, and like being able to the way I can move on my feet. You've seen me dance before. I think that might have to do also from learning how to move my body from martial arts.
Yeah, it's funny how everything's inspired by someone else or some movement before, which is why I feel like we're talking about oldies during this podcast. Just keep stressing that.
Yeah,
so
like
don't lose that.
I mean, think about it, dude. Like my dancing came from like learning watching who? Michael Jackson, Chris Brown, all the oldies, like everyone who could dance from back then up till now. Watching break dancers, watching shoot. I mean, there's a lot of people that can dance these days, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, Bob Dylan, he was from Minnesota, right?
You think so?
And even him, he was assuming the legacy of Woody Guthrie. And look how far he took it.
Yeah. It's crazy how, their legacy built up and like how people want to like. Isn't it funny how even today you'll see somebody putting a dance video together or like their own version of a music video or like covering a song from music even back then, like
from Michael Jackson or.
You have no idea how, dude. I swear, if you go to YouTube right now and type in people dancing to Michael Jackson songs, you will find probably 2020 or 2021 videos of today of him they're dancing to his music. That's insane.
Yeah.
But then again, you also have to think about how legendary and how revolutionary Michael Jackson was. I mean, he was, making music like even before the music we even had, like the way his sounds, his his tone. Like think about how futuristic his instrumentals were at some points. You know what I'm saying? That was nuts. Some of his music, like it holds up. Obviously, still holds up to today. But it's so funny how you can listen to some of his old songs, but it sounds like a song that be made today. Good example, really good rap group. Speaking of oldies, Jurassic 5. Remember when you listen to them? They're a 2018 band. You looked them up, but it's hilarious how their sound is an old school group sound. Like where one guy flows right after the other, but it's so well done. They sound like a rap group from the 60s, don't they? Am I right?
Yeah, they pay respects and it pays back.
It's amazing how they sound, like that flow, that and then the next guy comes in and it's just like that constant like buddy rap or whatever they call it. I don't know. I'm not very good at that.
They're playing off each other and yeah, it's a group. So.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so then let's see. You got any other facts you want to look up about the 60s stuff?
60s, yeah. We were going to do...
Like, what else?
What was cool in the 60s?
Yeah.
So we found...
Like lava lamps and...
Yeah, afros.
Hippie buses.
Barbie dolls.
Yeah.
Bell bottoms.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. We're talking about the Beatles. There's something called Beatlemania. Where it wrapped from California to the whole world, to Japan. These people were selling, the speakers couldn't even hold how loud the concerts were.
That's how big they were, dude. That's so insane. You're right. Like
weird to say. Smiley faces came from the 60s.
Yeah, the stickers.
Mini skirts. You said lava lamps. Let's see.
Beads. Like wristband beads, necklace beads, something like that, When did puka shells come around?
I am not. That might have been a little later, but probably the same time, maybe.
Right.
We got watching the Beatles rock out on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yep, that's
so they
pretty much where they got their start.
Dominated their era, man.
Oh yeah.
Riding around on banana bikes. Are those linked bikes?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Those are those tandem bikes or whatever, but they're literally made out of like the banana,
And then I guess could drinking Tang.
Dude, Tang was good back in the day.
Orange powder.
But you could tell it wasn't like
pre-Gatorade.
Yeah, but it was way worse for you, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And then there was a race to break Babe Ruth's home run record.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle trying to top him.
You're like Jamie over here on the Joe Rogan podcast looking stuff up. I like it.
Yeah. Well, this is a good one. I mean, a lot of stuff came from the 60s. And
oh, totally, dude.
Go-go boots.
Oh, yeah.
Those are hideous.
Those are still kind of a thing, though. Those high boots like that.
See that one you see now.
Except if it's like they have more of a zip-up strap on the sides now instead of having to like pull it up.
Look at that one.
Easy bake oven. Mm-hmm.
Easy bake oven.
Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Dude. Oh, or was that the 90s? See, here's what I'm saying is that it's crazy how I grew up in the 90s, but I still know some of the 60s stuff, you know?
And look at this. Those troll dolls from Toy Story
mm-hmm.
came from the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe those dolls belong to Andy's parents?
Maybe. Etch-a-Sketch.
Oh,
dude, no way.
Etch-a-Sketch came from Sound of Music.
Yeah, Uno.
I've probably only seen that song one time. I mean, that movie one time. Have you seen that movie, Sound of Music?
I think Uno, but that's been around forever.
Tie-dye. Well, yeah, of course. Going into the
that's still a
60s.
thing today.
Jello. Oh, I don't even know what that is.
That doesn't look appetizing.
Okay, the twist.
Yeah. Do those. Maybe copyright. We probably shouldn't do that.
Right.
Yeah. that was addicting though. You can't help it. Yeah. G.I. Joes, of course.
Playing with G.I. Joes, but I didn't know that was from the 60s. Marveling at the special effects in Mary Poppins.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do one more. Witnessing. Neil Armstrong walked on the moon.
Yep.
Did it happen? Of course it did.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. All right, so let's go to the sixth.
That's good.
Let's go to the sixth subject. So, why's better to say something than not? All right, so we're kind of moving on from the 60s, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I like what we're talking about, but here's the thing.
What does that mean? Saying something in terms
of
what?
Let me put it this way. Let me start this off, okay? This is one of my favorite quotes, and the funny thing is, I feel like I've heard this from somewhere before, but if not, then I'm going to say I came up with it. No, I'm just kidding. No, but, alright, listen, alright?
Okay.
Check it out. Sometimes the truth can be the most hurtful thing. Jeez. There you go. No, alright, listen, I'm going to start over. Listen. Stop knocking stuff around. Alright, no. Sometimes the truth can be the most hurtful thing to hear, but sometimes the truth is the thing you need to hear the most. It's very philosophical, but it gets you thinking. What do you think that means?
So it makes sense with what we're saying. It's better to say something
than not.
Than to,
When you have concern about a friend, about who might be, doing something too much that they shouldn't be doing. I don't want to get into details because, as you know, I try to keep a clean podcast and channel, and sometimes you might have to come down hard on them, but it's only because you show them that you care. You show them that you love them. That's what you got to do. You can't. It's like they say. Sometimes harsh love is harsh love, but at least it's better for them to show you love than to not say anything and let you keep ruining your life.
Okay, yeah.
Or what are some examples you could think of?
Well, I mean, I know what you're saying. It's like if someone's doing in their daily routine something that's off, hurting them. As a friend, you say something. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I can't say. You don't want me to say some examples, do you?
Some examples for me, right? When I was, really overweight, and my personal trainer, Wes, he would get on me about it and say he would be harsh on me. Would he be mean? Yeah, but I knew it was constructive criticism. It was to inspire me. It wasn't to be mean to me, But he would tell me about my health and how I could get diabetes, how I could possibly die and get a heart attack and blah blah. And the funny thing is, the doctor told me the same thing. And then that's when I got on my fasting, and I'm getting back on my fasting again to keep losing weight. So, that's a harsh reality that I have to face, is the fact that, I was 310 pounds at one point. And I'd rather my trainer say something to me and come at me like a friend than not say anything at all and let me slowly die of my own bad health habits. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, in that case, yeah. It's got to say something.
Yeah. Okay, like, I mean, like, I know you don't want to say any names, but do you have any friends that in the past where they've done too much of something and you had to give up your friendship because they ended up being toxic or something like that, you know?
Well, I could go back to grade school, and there are kids who just, I mean, third grade hit and they thought they were in seventh grade, you know, going out to hanging out with kids that were too old for them and
Trying to be the cool crowd.
yeah, so that, I mean, it starts at a very young age, saying something and knowing who your friends are, and you know, your friends will say something.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you know, I guess an example, like, you know, like, I know you'd be that guy, not just because you're talking to a black belt, but I could know that if a friend of yours got bullied, I don't feel like you would let it slide all the time. Like, I wouldn't either.
no.
You know, me being a bigger guy, like, people would still, you know, just stand there and be like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't mess with them. Like, not just someone like that intimidating guy, but, you know, like, I'm tired of seeing stuff like that. Like, and then that day you feel good because you actually helped a friend out. Because, like we were just saying, it's better to say something than not, you know.
Yeah, when you say something, you're doing a lot of things. You're protecting what happens in the future. You're helping your friend.
Maybe preventing it from
Giving them
happening.
confidence, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you say always say something, or is it?
You know,
What if you're not
what if
best
you're not
friends with them?
if you're not comfortable, or okay, no, okay. Now I know I'm sounding like I'm contradicting myself. Not always, because sometimes you need to let them figure it out on their own.
Right. So
But that might be
line.
hard for them to do it. So sometimes that's when you might have to come at them with a harsh reality of like, hey man, you're messing up on this, you need to do this. You need to stop doing this, you need to quit blaming people for this and quit blaming people for that, and, you know.
So you got to be objective and give facts.
Yes, you don't just want to blatantly start calling out somebody because then you become the jerk and you look like a jerk. You know, especially like if you don't have any facts. What if your anger gets the best of you when you're trying to talk to them and you end up just yelling at them?
Right.
Then
they think you're just moving off emotion when you're just
yeah. So then who's in the wrong at the time? Not them anymore, because you're yelling at them for basically literally no reason at all. See what I mean?
Yeah. At least they believe so.
Right. But like I said, like, all right, cool. We got 20 minutes left on the thing. So yeah, so that's why you want to come at them with facts, you know. Like, example, you know, our one buddy I'm just gonna say it. I'm not gonna say his name to protect him and be nice. But our buddy we're hanging out with, you know, because of certain reasons, you know. I don't know what's going on.
You could call him John or something.
Yeah. Well, let's just not use any names, but he makes it hard to be his friend sometimes, and I've let him know that, and especially with the way he acts and when he does stuff that I do not approve of, and I keep on telling him that you need to not do this and stop, like I was just saying before, blaming people for this and that, and quit blaming your introvertedness as an excuse to, like, not even try to give up or not want to put your foot in the door, not give society a chance. It's like, you know, society doesn't hate you. Maybe they don't like you because of the way that you are and the way that you're acting, you know. And I don't want to be that jerk, but I've said that to him, like, in a very nice, kind way, because, like I said, it's better in those times. I felt like it's better to say something than not, because I felt like he was going down a path I did not want to see, or at least, you know, a path he used to go down. I don't want to see anymore, you know. I'm trying to say a lot without saying too much, because I'm trying to keep it as clean as I can, you know, just because I want to get demonetized. And you know, I got family members who listen to my stuff, you know, things like that. Our family members, you know. So I'm just trying to be as generally clean as I can, but also being more broad with what I'm saying, because I feel like if I keep it to sticking the same generic happy-go-lucky stuff, people might lose interest because, you know, they want to hear new things. And I will maybe at some point talk about controversial stuff, but keep it clean so that way I don't get attacked by anybody. You know what I'm saying? There's a way.
Sense, yeah.
There's a way to get around that stuff, you know. So, example, like there's a way to get around telling somebody like it is, you know, without being a jerk, like we were saying. You know, like. So, do you have any examples of a time where you've had to say something to a friend or to an ex-friend that you didn't want to say, but you realized that as much it might hurt them, it actually end up actually did or did not benefit them in the end and made them a better person or not? You got any examples?
Well, a lot of times in school, I would be a good friend and help out, but I guess I didn't step up enough in school. But in sports, I did.
Mm-hmm.
In sports, I'd tell a guy, stay in your position, play that, try to be constructive so that the person doesn't, think you're just being,
lazy.
Well, just being mean. Well, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to say stay in your position and play your role.
It's teamwork, yeah.
So we can all win the game. And
exactly.
So sports was definitely where I kind of would say something and hope they didn't take. Well, I'd say it the right way,
Right. Well, I mean, speaking of sports and stuff, let's move on to number 7. Because sports involves working out. So you and I, we've been touching on the subject of Corona every now and then, but not making it political and keeping it as clean as we can. So in my podcast here, literally my solo one last night, I talked about working out and how, a little bit, and how being in the sun can help fight Corona and how it can help keep the toxins out of your body and sweat the toxins out. Mm-hmm. So, in your opinion, or unless you want to look it up on your...
why it can help
fight
Corona?
Yeah, why working out can fight Corona, and just why it's good for your body and health in general. You and I already have our own general sense as to why.
Yeah.
Talked about it a lot, but already.
Well, it's not just working out. As long as you
active.
I think you have to be aware of the. It's weird to say, but particles in the air. You have to be aware of the air you're breathing because Corona's in the air. So.
Mm-hmm.
As long as your space is clean and the stuff you're touching is clean, and you shower after you work out.
Yeah, so you don't get staph infection. Yeah, man.
Then that helps, because you're clean and your body is, going through its system,
right?
Its processes.
Mm-hmm.
So working out helps that, especially I'm working from home now, so I could do a few push-ups, go out on a run, and make sure you're hydrated.
Well, that little middle part right there from your living room to your kitchen, you could totally turn that into a major workout area. Think about it. You could do jumping jacks there. You could run in circles around there, get your cardio, and you could do push-ups. If you wanted to, you could probably put a heavy bag in one of the corners in front of the doors you don't use, and just go nuts on the heavy.
Room, yeah.
That'd be cool.
So, it indirectly fights Corona, I'd say.
Yeah. Just being healthy in general.
Yeah, because you're not sitting in your filth all the time and
your immune system.
Touching stuff.
Besides working out, I was to help fight it. I take Centrum too. Multivitamins. Of course. I feel like everyone should do that as well. Duh.
Vitamin C.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, like what you're saying, the sun. Vitamin D fights it somehow. The sun.
Yeah, Joe Rogan talked about it in his podcast. I'm trying to remember. They said something like doctors have proven that vitamin C from the D. I'm sorry, D. Yeah, vitamin D from the sun actually will kill the corona bacteria or something. If you want to look it up, we can. But
I looked up that the virus can't survive above 98 degrees.
So yeah, and then the thing about if you're working out, your body temperature is getting up there.
You're burning that virus,
especially if you're doing the workouts.
I don't know if that's don't.
Don't take it with a grain of salt. No, yeah. Well, that's just like what Joe Rogan said. He was like, if you actually listen to what I say and actually take any advice I say and actually apply it, he's like, you're an idiot because I don't know what I'm talking about. I was just talking about my general stuff, and we're like, but you do know what you're talking about because you're smart. But he's just like, well, I might be smart, but don't take what I say as a matter of fact,
Right. Still wash your hands. Still wear a mask.
Yeah.
Working out's not gonna. Solve all your problems, right?
Yeah, no, it's not going to be the cure-all. Okay, so let's wrap it up with our last two subjects. I like this little flow we got today. This is actually going really well. This might be our best podcast yet, to be honest with you. Not saying the others weren't good, but this one's especially with this new mic.
Mic is nice.
Thank you at Schiller's Camera for suggesting this, and thank you to my investor for having me take these courses and learn more about how to do these different things with updated mics and cameras. This boom mic here from Ceremonic is, and I could tell from last night's podcast, my solo one. Speaking of which, Let me see. Hold on 1 second. Okay, we've got 14 minutes left. So, my solo podcast was a lot of fun. And for me personally, I liked it because it was just kind of me talking. And it was kind of therapeutic in a way. You know, I was just talking to myself, but it felt good to like let people know how I was thinking or what I was talking about, you know, especially whenever I got to the part where I was talking about meditation and how to relax and not give up on yourself and keep trying, and then talking about my acting coach and how people are coming at him saying that he's not. They're not saying he's not professional, but it's hard to explain. But maybe hopefully we can talk about that on Thursday because I want to get the full story as to why he's afraid to put himself out there. You know. But yeah, no, like my solo podcast was definitely fun. I'm definitely going to do another one again. Maybe my next one can be more structured. Maybe, but otherwise, if not, then I'm fine with that as well because I kind of just like freelance talking, you know. Which is pretty cool. I mean, you even told me that you listened to a little bit of it and you liked it, right?
Yeah, I was right before I called you. You were hitting everything. It was a good, good morning podcast almost.
Yeah.
You know, what is it? A year in? Who knows? Virus. People need someone to lift their spirits.
That's why I try to do my advice videos and try to keep everything positive, inspire people through everything I do. You know. I know they say that nowadays, like, calling yourself an influencer doesn't really have much merit anymore, especially in the YouTube world, because everyone is apparently an influencer if you just upload any kind of video, no matter what you do. But, you know, when I say influencer, I mean to say, like, in the good way, not like I'm not one of these YouTubers that'll post, like, you know, negative, controversial stuff just for views and not care, you know, about what people think about me. You know, I'm not narcissistic like that, or sociopathic, as they say, you know.
Makes sense.
So, let's wrap it up and talk about New York life. So, you love New York. New York is sweet. It's a lot of fun. The couple times I've been there. Dude, remember that time? Hey, your cal's on. I got done calling people that pasta dish, and I was giving myself that weird, funny New York, like, Jersey accent. And remember that? Oh, wow. That guy we walked by, and he was really mad. He started banging the payphone or whatever. He's like, you know what, blah blah blah, bang bang bang. And I was like, hey, why don't you go bang the phone somewhere else at Calzone? He looked at me and he went, what? You were like, Toby, keep walking. No, but
New York life.
Oh yeah.
God, I got out of there about a month ago. And
yeah.
300. They said they had 300,000 vacancies just this year. So, assuming 2 people per household, maybe 500,000 people left New York this year.
Dang.
Yeah, so New York life, I don't know. I mean, they say they're responding well to the virus, but also a lot of people died, so it makes me think, are they responding because of how many people died, or are they being responsible? So, you know.
Yeah.
And then the rent is going down. The tenants are trying to keep their people.
Right.
But it's not enough for a lot of people. They're moving upstate. They're going to Boston, Florida, Missouri, in my case. Yeah, New York life is rough right now if you aren't, you know, producing cash.
Right.
It's rough because New York's a lot about
Probably can't be as rough as LA though.
entertainment, and it's all shut down right now.
Yeah. And it can't be as rough as LA though.
Yeah, it's similar.
Yeah. I think it's crazy how in New York you see all these people walking in and out in between the streets, and people just speeding in, like between them, like there's a racetrack and they never get hit. And I'm like, how do people in New York know how to drive that well that they can weave in between? But then here in St. Louis, we've got 4 lanes and we see an accident almost every day. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Well, New York had a lot of accidents too, but yeah, there's people. It is a melting pot of, 10-mile radius of
all
madness, right?
Races, religion, yeah.
Yeah, going from Queens to, Staten Island. It's so many different cultures in New York.
Speaking of Queens, and I know I talk about Spider-Man all the time, but I really liked about the Tom Holland versus Spider-Man movies is how it's showing the different races of kids to kind of help emphasize the fact that there's more than there's a whole wide variety, which I think is part of cool. Speaking of that melting pot, you know, like if you actually notice, like in the movies, like all the kids are different races. You know, like Flash is like that one Indian actor, Tom's Spider-Man's best friend, Ned. He's like Hawaiian or Asian or something like that. And you know Zendaya, you know, who plays you know, MJ. She's mixed. I know she's African American, I think, and something else, but real pretty, you know. Well, I think it's really cool how they took that diversity of that, and they're like, hey, we're going to portray that in these new Spider-Man movies. And, like, I caught on to that, and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool, you know, like...
Times are changing. Especially
with, let's be honest, like, not, again, saying anything controversial, but how racism can be these days. It's nice to see a movie where it's including everybody, and it makes you feel good. It gives you that warm-hearted feeling. You know what I mean? Especially a New York movie. I mean, come on. By the way, how cool does it feel to know that you're from a city where it has one of the most beloved fictional comic book characters of all time? That's got to feel kind of cool.
You do kind of feel like Spider-Man sometimes.
Yeah, right.
Growing up, at least, you try to dream for it.
Dude, right?
Something bite me.
Yeah, and then you're in the hospital. I'm dying.
Yeah, why are you? I was trying to be Spider-Man.
Yeah, you were poisoned. Oh no. You got anything else to add about the New York life? Anything cool, like how crazy it was or fun it was? Or...
Come prepared.
Yeah.
You know, don't let, you know, watch your back. You know, a lot of people, they're moving fast out there, so go for 3 days.
That's the thing all my mom and I could take when we were down there. Like 3 days. I mean, it was cool, it was fun, but, you know, no offense, but some of the restaurants are expensive, too.
Yeah, you're talking, for 2 people, a nice restaurant?
When you went there, like, I remember, like,
$250, $200. Yeah. So I don't go to those, but...
I remember we went to that really nice small restaurant. We got the like little corner booth, or whatever, with our parents, and then like, and my your brother and sister, and my mom and your parents. And I remember like, we got like simple food. I think like burgers and fries. I can't remember, but it was expensive. Like almost like as if we got super fancy food. I was like, Jesus.
If you want to have a good time in New York, go to Copacabana.
Copacabana.
Sorry. Yeah, 42nd Street, Times Square.
Hey, yo, 42nd Street, you know? Alright, so Staten Island, is that where Jersey Shore is? Is that where the show Jersey Shore was filmed? So that was pretty much technically New York, right? Staten Island.
It was in Jersey.
It was in Jersey. Yeah. So, geez, so wait. So what's the association with Jersey Shore and Staten Island and like and the guys acting like that from the show? Like,
it's very close. It's very close together. It's a maybe 10-mile radius.
Oh, okay, that's why. Yeah. So that pier where like the amusement park is and all that and everything with all the clubs where they were filming in Jersey Shore. Yeah. That wasn't. I'm saying anything it's Staten Island because I have the Jersey Shore cast thing like, yo, I'm from Staten Island, and I'm like, why do they talk like that? No, I'm just kidding. It's cool.
You know, it's just because they're Irish Italians
and they got big muscles and this New York, but it's more like, hey yo, like I'm gonna call you, Tony, hey, like
hey yo, I can't do that.
Just forget about it, try the villain. No, I'm just playing.
Hey, we'll have to go soon.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I definitely want to go up to LA with my wife and visit my brother. That'd be so much fun, dude. Go down there, maybe do some music with him. Maybe go to a EDM concert with him. Introduce me to the party scene, like he did the one time when I was down with him. Well, last time I was there with him, I had a blast.
Really?
And I met Bruce Willis. Yeah, that was insane.
Did he say anything to you?
Oh, he gave me like the finger shots. He was like boom, 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 And I was like,
finger guns?
Yeah, I was like, no way. Yeah, I was like, that's so cool. So I technically met him, but yeah. It was really cool. So I was standing in the lobby, and then I was like, and I looked over, and I saw this like one dude standing there with like sunglasses and a gray ponytail, probably his bodyguard, and he goes up to the concierge, being himself, talking like he does, like, hey guys, what's up? Like doing his little spiel, his little head bob, and how he acts in his movies. Funny, he acts the same way in real life. He's just kind of like being himself. And I look over and I kind of wave at him, and he goes boom, boom, boom with his fingers, and I'm like, whoa! Like, no way, you recognize me. Yeah,
I'm not famous, so I don't know, but I don't think I'd ever shoot someone the guns, finger. Nah, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. It was Bruce Willis. I mean, hey,
Right.
But that's why I'm trying to do what I'm doing, because who knows, maybe I'll get big like that one day. I don't know. All right, so you're going to wrap things up? You good?
Yeah, it was great. Thanks for having me on your show again. I think it's like my 7th time now. Maybe. It's a good time. I feel like we're getting better at it.
Definitely, 100%. I was just checking something. Okay, guys. Excuse me. Well, we are going to wrap up this podcast. Thank you all for listening who tuned in. We all love you very, very much. If you need a marketer or advertiser in St. Louis, if you need a boxing coach or a martial arts coach, if you want to talk about anything, if you need an advice coach, if you want to film you doing what you love to do, put it out there, what have you, let me know. Thank you all for those of you who have subscribed, who even bother to watch my stuff in the first place, things of that nature. I really, truly do love you all. This has been Carbon C. Capshaw / Mr. Smiles a Lot and my cousin Ethan Capshaw here, and we are now both officially about to sign off.